Hey YouTube, long time no see. You might get to hear my fish tank in the background, and I got new glasses for distance, and I would wear them, but you see it's very reflective, so it might get kind of distracting. Anyway, I wanted to make a video about recovering from social anxiety disorder again, and because I've found a lot of new discoveries about that. And I think the most important thing for overcoming it would be to learn to forgive yourself. And I've noticed that a lot of social anxiety disorder seems to be rooted in a sort of guilt of existing, or a guilt of not being quite right all the time. And it's kind of this assumption that everything we do is wrong and we're just not doing everything properly. And I think in that way we're not accepting ourselves as unique individuals, and we're basically trying to fit into a mold of what we think everyone else is, or what we should be, which is some sort of extremely social butterfly, basically. And I'm someone who is not human and does not make mistakes. So it's kind of for me at least, it's a root and has a root in perfectionism. It's a lot about your mindset, having the mindset of just guilt all the time. So, like, when most people make a mistake, I assume they can maybe feel bad for a day and then they forget about it and they move on. But people with social anxiety disorder basically use that as a kind of a kindling, a way to basically build up this whole tower of guilt in which they use those memories to reassure themselves that they're no good, or that they're not good enough. And so the key is to really interrupt those thoughts and those feelings, and basically to really gain this mindset about yourself and about life, and really change how you feel about yourself. And how you would do that is, for instance, like when I do something embarrassing, or something I would find embarrassing, like I don't talk enough, I'm in some social situation, I don't talk enough, or I kind of stumble over something, and for some reason my mind latches to that. I say to myself, why does this matter? It doesn't. And then I say to myself, I'm not perfect, I'm human, I am perfectly okay the way I am, there's no reason to apologize for who I am. There's absolutely no reason for me to feel bad for who I am, and when people around me, if they don't like me, that's okay. And I think that's the major key in getting over social anxiety disorder is, if people don't like me, that is perfectly fine. And it's about, like, when you make social interaction and when you meet people, if you ever get to that point, you have to think to yourself, I'm coming to this situation as myself. I'm not trying to please anyone, I'm not trying to be someone I'm not. I'm going to be exactly who I am, and if they don't like it, that's okay, and I won't see them anymore. And that's really a huge, important thing, because when you have it, I think you have this expectation that everyone has to like you have to please everyone, and just that's not the case, and it shouldn't be, and it doesn't even matter, because why would you want to be around people who don't like you the way you are anyway? And if you remove that idea that you're flawed and you need to be fixed, then it's a little easier for you to latch on to that whole idea of, it's okay if people don't like me. Because, like, a big step in my anxiety is I met with someone I didn't know very well for the first time. I messaged them on Facebook and I said, hey, you're a really awesome person. I was wondering if I could meet you for coffee sometime, because I thought it'd be fun to chat a bit and meet each other. And so we did. And I had never talked to this person before, like we had met once, but not to, like, I had just run into them. And that's how we met each other and became friends, on Facebook anyway, and because we would go to the same dance club. So I found them on Facebook and stuff, but I had never actually really had a conversation with them. I had never talked to them. I didn't know much about them except they were, like, transgendered and stuff. So I didn't really have anything to go off. I just was like, I always noticed this person was a very positive person, and I thought this person would be a valuable person to meet. And so I messaged them, and I risked all my feelings to do that, because it's hard for me, and they said yes, and so we met, and I felt really anxious, but it wasn't horrible, and I kind of enjoyed it, and I felt really accomplished with myself. And when I felt weird afterwards, I thought to myself, this is a person I'm meeting for the first time, and if they don't like me, it's okay. And life moves on if they don't like me. It's all about there are thousands and thousands of people out there, and you have to meet them to find which ones are right for you. And if you don't meet them, you'll never know. So you have to be flexible to the idea that there will be some that work and some that don't. And the biggest part of that is you have to remember that if someone doesn't like you, there is nothing wrong with you. And there's nothing you have to change about yourself, and you don't have to feel bad about it. As long as you're not like an asshole to someone, and I'm sure you wouldn't be, then there's absolutely nothing to feel bad about. I mean, you could make a fool out of yourself and you shouldn't feel bad still, because that's just part of who you are. You're maybe an anxious, uncomfortable person. And if you're, I hold my breath when I talk. If you're honest about that, if you're honest and straightforward about who you are and what your abilities are and how you function and what you are okay and not okay with, then there's no misleading going on. And so if they don't like it, that's just a compatibility issue. And it's not because they're bad, and it's not because you're bad. So that's extremely important. The compatibility of someone with you, it takes a long time to find the right people. But I've found that it is very helpful to be honest, as I said, and the reason for that is some people will get upset about how you act or what you do because they don't understand you or don't understand why you're doing it. Because to some people, that the social messages someone with social anxiety disorder gives off is kind of scary to them because they think it means something bad. Like, for instance, I have a habit of not responding to messages for a very long time because I will get overwhelmed and run away from them. And so if people know that about me and know that I'm doing that not because I don't like them, but because I have issues with that, then they won't be as hurt by it. And something I've always done is beat myself up about not responding to messages. And I realized, gosh, why am I wasting my time doing that? When someone sends me a message, they're sending me a message, and that's kind of their risk to take, to talk to someone and not know how they will act or how busy they are. And I just need to stop feeling bad about that, because it's my life. Unfortunately, I can't always be perfect and do things exactly as I would want, and I have to forgive myself for not having the ability to be there for people every second of the day, for being able to be there for people constantly and be able to be kind of this do everything kind of person. You basically have to understand you have to work within your own abilities, and that there is nothing wrong with that, and there's nothing wrong with you. You have your shortcomings, and you are afraid of things, and I'm sure you want to be good and do better, but that's all you can do. There's no reason to feel bad in the meantime. I mean, you can't help who you are and what troubles you've been given by your family or by your situation. So that's one step, and I'll make another video about more.